Hi, everybody. My name is Naya. I'm a Soul Collective youth organizer. Soul Collective is a community-based nonprofit partnership whose mission is to provide artistic, cultural, and educational programming, promote social justice, and empower youth through art, activism, music, and media experience. Welcome to Interconnections with Jessa. Before we get started, I would want to recognize that we are on stolen land. We encourage you to learn about the indigenous people that were impacted due to colonization and hope that you will do your part on uplifting indigenous ways and knowledge. Take this time to text your city and state to 907-312-5085. Here you will find out what land you currently occupy. And Jessa, you could take it over.
And I just want to add that phone number isn't going to be 100% accurate, neither is the website, but because they're doing their best, but it's not all accurate. And so I know most of you are calling from Patwin territory, some of you are calling from Tongva territory, and I myself am calling from Bayam-Kawicham territory. So I just want to acknowledge those nations. Bless you. Bless you. So Meiha Winahinkam, Netwanya Ne, Jessa Calderon, Tomvetneha Koi Mixkanakin, Koi Yoeme. Hi everybody, my name is Jessa Calderon. I am Tongva as well as Chumash and Yoeme. So one thing that we'll do to get started is a grounding exercise. But before I do, I just want to kind of let you know a little bit about who I am and what I do. I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a hip-hop artist, and I guess you could call me a poet. It kind of goes hand in hand with the rap, and I am an author. Not quite published yet, but soon to be in the works, so that's exciting. But that aside, I am also a massage therapist and an energy worker. I do guided meditations and I do hypnosis. And with the hypnosis, I help people to heal their traumas of many types. Most of us have childhood traumas. Some of us have, domestic traumas and things of that nature. And I also do past life regressions with the hypnosis. So I've been in this line of work for a very long time. And I really see the health benefit in it, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that good stuff. So I welcome you to close your eyes before we get started and just take a couple of deep breaths. A deep breath in through your nose and allowing that breath to be held in the depth of the chest area. And exhale out through your mouth. Again, taking in another deep breath in through the nose and allowing that breath to bring in positive, loving, healing energy and allowing that love to be felt throughout the entire body. And exhale through the mouth. Again, taking in another deep breath through the nose and allowing yourself to feel that loving, healing energy from that oxygen, allowing that love to be felt in every cell in the body. And go ahead and release that breath out through your mouth. We'll take one more breath in through the nose, allowing that love to be felt in the neck and shoulders, running down to the fingertips, down through the chest area to the bottoms of the feet. Go ahead and exhale any negative, stagnant energy that the body no longer needs. And as you continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with your eyes closed, I welcome you to listen to my voice and tune into your own body. We'll focus now at the base of the spine where the root energy portal sits. And here at the base of the spine, focus in the front of the body as if there was a clock in the front of your body facing outwards. Visualize a beautiful red light moving in a clockwise direction at the base of the spine. And that beautiful light is moving from the 1 to the 3 to the 6 to the 9 to the 12 and continuously moving in this clockwise direction from the front of the body and out through the back. As this beautiful light transcends through the body, it begins to remove any and all blockages, removing any and all fear, removing guilt, removing doubt, removing insecurity, removing exhaustion and low energy, removing anxiety and instability. And as all of these blockages are removed from the body, this beautiful red light at the base of the spine pushes through and brings forth loving, healing energy, bringing a sense of security, knowing that we are safe, we are protected, bringing a balance of positive energy, bringing forth the willingness to forgive, bringing forth a sense of stability, knowing that we are stable mentally, having positive, loving, healing thoughts, physically being able-bodied, spiritually being connected to self and all that is, emotionally understanding our emotions as they come about, processing our emotions, communicating our emotions to ourselves and others. We are stable financially, always having the financial abundance that we need to survive in this Western world and still have money for the savings account. We are completely grounded and we are blessed with healthy boundaries. Tuning in to the bottom of the feet, visualize roots like that of a tree coming down from the bottom of the feet into the earth. And as those roots plant themselves in the earth, they grow deeper, they grow wider, and they grow stronger, allowing us to feel completely grounded, unmovable, unshakable. As this energy begins to pulsate through these roots, up to the feet, up to the legs, up to the torso, up the chest, down the hands, and up and out through the head and back into the earth. We recognize this unconditional love as the unconditional love brought upon through Mother Earth, understanding that she always loves us unconditionally, providing us with food, shelter, and water. And for that, we are extremely grateful. Thank you, Mother Earth, for loving us unconditionally. And in return, we try our best to love you unconditionally and treat you with love and respect. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And slowly begin to shake your shoulders and release. And slowly begin to open your eyes. And I welcome you now to feel free to turn on your cameras and join me here. And if you'd rather keep your cameras off, that's completely fine too. I would love to have some introductions though, if that's okay. So what I would like to do is maybe popcorn style, have you introduce your name, maybe where you're calling from, and I'd like to know how you're feeling on a level of 1 to 10, and also what it is that you would like to get from this course with me today, or this session with me today. And I noticed Perla, you were the first one to turn on your camera, so I want to go ahead and popcorn it to you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Perla. I heard from Soul Collective from when I at an art show with you guys in Austin. So I found, that you were doing this, and I actually happened to be starting a book on my life, and my family's from Mexico, so it was, a lot of drama, a lot of stuff, lots of my family was actually in the cartel and all that stuff. So I have a real good story. I just don't know where to start. And I saw this and I was like, I need to check this out. Yeah. Oh, I'm also an artist. I go by Arte de Perla. You can find me on all of the genres.
Thank you for sharing. You want to go ahead and popcorn to someone?
How do you do that? Do I just pick somebody?
Yeah, just look at one of the names and just pop it over to them.
Okay, Diego.
Thank you, Perla. Hi, everyone. My name is Diego, and I am calling from Winton territory. And I am also a visual and performing artist. And I really don't, I come into this space without any expectations. So whatever is offered, I will take with much gratitude. Yeah, I am grateful to be here and I am complete. So I will pass this to Laura and Baby.
Hello, I'm Laura, and this is Faye with me this evening. And I am also an artist, and I think I saw Soul Collective. I was like, how did I find them? And I think it was in Austin, so I'm really glad you went before me. But I live in Denver, or technically Golden, Colorado, and so I'm calling tonight, and I've just gone through a really big grief, and I'm kind of just trying to navigate through that. And so I think just being around like-minded individuals and inspiration and other artists, and just really open-hearted, and I'm thankful for the opportunity. Do I need to popcorn? I will.
If you can.
Well, I think Faye picked the one with the baby picture. I would love to know how to pronounce that, but I do not know how to. I know Aguirre.
That we could just call her Mitsla. So Mitsla,
Yeah.
you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Mitsla.
Hold on, let me turn on my lights real quick. Sorry, I was enjoying the moment in this darkness, but no one can see my face. So, wait, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Hi everyone. Meha awish koneha amado kawan ko amacho aneha letwanan mislayot soshi nashuk tukore harotong bet shababe nashukr oite harot meshika sakatiskavet koe guanajuatovet metepohate hovet eyoshushumpohate hovet wiapniat ekwanganomet ema achma awish koneha ehet hovkop ami. Good evening, everyone. My name is Misla Sashid Aguilera, or Misla for short. I am Tangba Gabrielino and Mexican from Guanajuato and Zacatecas. I found out about this because Jess is one of my cousins. And I do, my job is dealing and handling with a lot of ancestral remains. And so because of that, it was an opportunity to have a session with Jessa and really learn how to decompress a little bit from that. So I am in my ancestral homelands of Tovangar. And yeah, Achima, thank you.
And then let's go ahead and popcorn it to, let's see, Anand? Is it Anand? Did I pronounce it right?
Hi. What? Sorry, this isn't my computer.
Okay, how about Joaquin?
I think Joaquin wrote on the chat that I think he might be on the road. Could be wrong.
Yeah, there it is. It says tuning in on the road home. My name's Joaquin Rojas. I am here to show some love and support to the fam, which yes, Joaquin is another good relative. I see Diana wrote as well, but is there anyone else who didn't go that maybe wants to introduce themselves? Miranda? Or anyone else? Okay, well, we're here for y'all. If anybody, at any point wants to say anything, this is, open circle. So I'm here for it. I know we decided to call this workshop Interconnection. And the number one thing that I want us all to know, is how we have been disconnected in this Western world from ourselves. We've been disconnected from nature, and in doing so, we've disconnected from ourselves. And so I want to remind ourselves of techniques that we can do to get back to that. And even in doing so, Perla, these opportunities of sitting alone, sitting with the land and things like that, this is where information often comes, of how to go about things. Sometimes a name will come into your head and you'll be like, I have to reach out to that person. And then that person will give you some kind of information that you actually needed to like help you get started on the book, or, things of that nature. So it's really important for us to recognize first the disconnection that's been happening in the Western world, and then make an awareness and an attempt to reconnect. And so the easiest thing to do is to just give yourself some time and space to turn off the phone. You don't have to turn it completely off, but at least turn off the ringer, flip it over so you're not looking at the screen. One of the best things to do is to go somewhere where you're not going to have service, and just really sit there with the land and take those deep breaths. I think too often, we're in such a hustle bustle kind of an environment that half the time we forget to breathe. And when we forget to breathe, what happens is we start to accumulate stress in our neck and our shoulders, and we'll start pulling our shoulders up to our ears. And when that begins to happen, we tend to get frustrated, right? Like, because you just feel this like yucky feeling, and you can't describe or understand how or why it's happening, but that it is. And that causes us to start to like lash out on our loved ones, and to start acting in ways that we don't necessarily want to, or that we don't necessarily like about ourselves. And so just something as simple as taking those deep breaths like we did in the beginning, it's going to help the muscles to relax. And allow, the cells to get oxygen to it. But one thing too about when we let our shoulders get up to our ears, what happens, like, let me get a wire or something. So I don't know if you could see, but this is, this is a nerve, let's say. This is a muscle and this is a muscle. And so the nerve sits in between the muscle like that. But when I forget to breathe, or when I'm overthinking about like what happened years ago, yesterday, or about what's supposed to happen tomorrow, right? Like when we're living too far in the past or too far in the future, or we're not breathing, what happens is our muscles start to decompress and then push in that nerve. And then that's going to cause pain. So some of us get it as sciatica, some of it runs down, the shoulders, and all of that can be calmed down and released through simple breathing techniques, and reminding yourself as you sit there, every breath that you take in, it's really, I like the word magical, I'm sorry, but it's really magical how just taking in a deep breath and connecting that breath with your mind, how you can transform the body. So for instance, if y'all want to practice this right now, you can close your eyes, and when you take a deep breath, focus that breath into your left shoulder, right? So you say, I'm taking a deep breath into my nose, and I allow that breath to go into my left shoulder, and I'm breathing loving, healing energy into my left shoulder, right? So you take that breath, breathe loving, healing energy into the shoulder, and allow the shoulder to relax. And then exhale any tension or stress that was in that shoulder out through my mouth. And I'm going to breathe in positive, loving, healing energy, and allow that loving, healing breath to channel into my right shoulder and decompress any tension in my shoulder. And I'm going to exhale any tension from my right shoulder out through my breath. And so say you have a pain at the bottom of your foot. Sit there for just 5 minutes, breathing in positive, loving, healing energy, and channel that loving energy down to the foot with every breath, right? Channel it down into the foot and then release the tension out through your mouth. And the craziest thing is, like, it sounds impossible, but your mind is so powerful that when you think thoughts like that, you can create the healing methods to apply into your body, right? And that's part of our inner connection too, that our mind can control anything in the body. And in understanding that, most times when we find ourselves ill, disease, dis-ease, oftentimes that comes from some form of a stress. It could also come from a food deficiency, or like if we eat particular foods that we put in our bodies that aren't necessarily good for you, like processed foods, it can cause ailments in the body. And so it's that interconnectionness of understanding that every single day of my life, every cell in my body, it creates my entire body, and my entire body is working every single day to keep me alive, to keep me healthy, right? And so it's better to work smarter and not harder, right? To help our body work smarter and not harder by ingesting live electric foods, such as, anything that grows directly from the earth, that has live energy in it. And that's going to provide the right energy source for every cell in your body, right? And so again, that's all part of that connection. And so when you're eating that style of food, it's going to help the mind to process things better, to not be foggy and things of that nature, right? So we've got breathing, we've got sitting in silence, we've got ingesting electric foods, which also can be known as alkaline foods. And then, tuning in to yourself, right? Like, everybody's heard of the third eye. And the thing with the third eye is it connects us. It's an energy field right here. There's an energy field. And that energy field, some people can see colors. You would see it as like kind of like a violet purple color, right? And so as we create blockages by overthinking things, having anxiety, we can close those energy portals in our body. And when we close, also living in a westernized world of disconnect. So when we close our energy portals, we feel disconnected, right? We don't believe in our ancestors or spirit, right? We don't believe in miracles. We don't believe, in good things. Like, we're just like Scrooges, And so when we start to open these energy portals, we can create miracles. And so when it comes to the third eye, the first thing that I appreciate about opening the third eye is having the ability to connect to yourself, right? Because you have, and this is, I'm going to say this right now. This is my personal opinion. So I'm going to just point the finger at me instead of saying you. I have the belief that I was a spirit before I was just a Calderon. And as spirit, I had the understanding that I could not cut myself and bleed, right? Couldn't do it. I can't feel particular emotions. But what I can do is I can go back on memory. I can look back on a life that I lived in a physical form. And I can remember the pain, and I can remember the pleasure, and I can relive it in memory. Because we do that every day, right? Every single day, we can make ourselves happy by thinking of the positive, loving things, or we can make ourselves miserable by thinking of horrible, traumatic things, right? Same thing in spiritual form. So I believe that as spirit, I was sitting there going, you know what? I want to know what it feels like to go through this experience. And I want to know what it's like to go through that experience. And, you know, in this lifetime, I want to know what it is to be a songwriter and a performer. You know, I want to have all of these experiences, and I lined them up for me. And I'm going to have these challenges and those challenges because I know that in that lifetime, I'm going to watch myself go from crawling to walking to growing. And I want to challenge myself to grow, right? And so when you see it in that perspective, is like challenges cause growth, then you begin to better receive challenges instead of the whole like, oh, nothing ever goes right. You kind of look at it and go, okay, why is this challenge happening? And how can I maneuver my mind, my body, my energy to kind of go with the flow instead of fight it, you know? And so in taking those understandings and techniques, it becomes a lot easier to kind of get through this lifetime. And then just knowing that when we pass from this lifetime, we get to take these memories and experiences with us, and we can go back and relive them through those memories if we choose. So that's my personal opinion of how things work. It sits right in my heart. It doesn't have to sit right in your heart because, you know, we all have a mind, and our minds are not meant to think identically, you know, but if it resonates with you, take it with you, you know, and allow yourself to get through the challenges in a good way, you know, because the thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have challenges. They're not going to stop coming. They're not, but they can be beautiful, you know, even the ones that you would deem as terrible, you know, they can have beauty because it brings forth spiritual growth, emotional growth, and things of that nature. But it's how we process it, right? So one thing I want to give with you is, or give to you, is when emotions come up, you know, one thing nobody ever taught me, I had to learn on my own was, for instance, it's okay to be angry. You know, how often did we grow up and somebody shame you for your anger? Like it's a bad thing, you know, and it could come across as a bad thing if we're lashing our anger out in ways that is harmful to other people. But that usually happens because we're being told that being angry is a bad thing, that we're being shamed. So we cram it all down, and we don't know how to communicate our emotions. We don't know how to translate our emotions, you know, so we just keep cramming it until it just kind of explodes out of us. And sometimes it could be, you know, Jerry over there has been pissing me off for 6 days, and now Susie says one thing and I flipped out on Susie, and how fair was that, you know? But when you begin to understand that, like, okay, first of all, it's okay to have anger. Then you acknowledge it. I have anger. I acknowledge my anger. I love myself for who I am, and that includes my anger, right? And you begin to like love every part of yourself, and that includes your, like, we'll call them shadow self, right? Like what people deem as dark about you, you know, whether it be anxiety or depression or whatever. When you acknowledge that those things exist within you, that's the first step. And then, so when situations occur where something pisses me off, I acknowledge it, you know, I recognize my anger, and I allow that anger to be there. And then I tell myself, okay, I recognize that this angered me, you know, I feel it, and I talk to myself, I talk myself through it, and I allow that anger to pass through me. It goes from the front of my body and out to the back. And I visualize that anger just kind of like a channel, right? Like I acknowledge that it happened, but I choose not to hold on to it and shove it down. Instead, I allow it to pass through me. And that's, like, for me, it's the safest way to go about the day, you know, to not get all gangster on people, but it's not just anger, it's, you know, depression. You know, when depression hits, I acknowledge it. I recognize that this is around the time my brother passed away, right, for instance. And so I know I tend to get sad around this time, and I'm going to give myself permission. I allow myself to feel the sadness, and I allow myself to dig internally and pinpoint exactly what it is that makes this feeling. And I recognize it, and then I allow it to pass through. So I'll let myself be sad for a whole day, sometimes two. And then, okay, now it's got to pass through, and I got to keep it pushing, right? So those are just a couple tools that I want to share with you all to just understand. One, you're not alone. Two, it's all normal and it's all okay. The sadness, the anger, despite what anybody says, it's all okay. It's okay to cry, and it's okay to scream and yell, but it's also healthy to let it transfer and channel through the body and let it go. Holding on to anything for too long is not going to be healthy, because what happens is we end up putting that in some place in our body. So a lot of the anger sometimes goes to like the stomach and chest area. Depression usually weighs down at the bottom of the body. Trust issues weigh in the chest, so all of these things, it's like you hold on to it and it ends up finding a place in your body and then causing you harm. So like, why should we harm ourselves when we should be loving ourselves and honoring ourselves and respecting ourselves, treating ourselves with kindness, right? And then understanding when we do that and we learn how to use those emotions and those teachings, then we end up filling our cup with that love and that respect and that kindness. And when we fill our cup up with that, then we pour it out into the world around us. And then we get to share that love with everyone else. And then our whole circle is like a dope ass circle that we've created, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pause there because I know I talk a lot. And I would love to just give some space. If anybody has any questions or would like to share anything at all, I'd like to give space to that. Even if there's like any examples or anything at all. And if not, that's okay. We could just keep on pushing. I'm looking at Perla though. I don't know, Perla, I think you got something you want to say.
So I struggle a lot with anxiety. And my mom mentioned the other day that it's funny how I'm listening to everything that you're saying. She said, you're carrying everything that our ancestors, brought. And she was like, you got to let it go. So I'm writing down what you're saying, because it really does resonate with what I'm going through.
Yeah, and that's very true. A lot of typically our men tend to have more anger, and some of it they don't know where it comes from, and it's genetic trauma. And then with us women, we tend to carry it more as like emotional, we want to cry type stuff, but we have anger too, but we carry it different, and so it's very true that it's okay to, for instance, I'm going to point the finger at me again, to acknowledge I have a grandfather who was taken from his mother at the age of 7, and he was forced into the mission system. And he, was forced into that lifestyle that he had to change his name. I'll never know what his, I shouldn't say I'll never know. I can connect, right? And ask questions, but in writing form, in physical, this lifetime form, his name is Prospero. That's it. That's all I have. That's a forced Spanish name. I'll never know the name his mother gave him on paper, right? And so I acknowledge that his mother went through so much trauma and pain losing her child. And he went through so much trauma and pain losing his lifestyle, his family, and being forced into a culture that was not his, and not having his family there to support him, right? And so I recognize the pain and all of that. And so what I decided to do was channel it through writing. And that's this next part that I want to get through with you guys. So thank you for pulling it up. Is I acknowledge what happened, and I decide I want to write the story down. And it could be a childhood situation, or it could be an ancestral thing. And sometimes you don't have to know what you're about to write, but you just put the pen to the paper and just let it happen. But with me, I ended up writing a song called Mission Indians, right? It's actually called Scars of a Warrior. They called us Mission Indians. And I'll go ahead and perform it real quick. So y'all can hear how it came from anger and depression. And I sat there in the car by myself and I cried it took me about 35 minutes of writing. And I knew I had to do this. And I sat there, and through my tears, I wrote this entire song. And so it starts off with my son, who I told him, I'll give you In-N-Out Burger if you do this part for me. So he's sitting there going, no, please put me down, put me down. And you hear the mother, no, my child, leave him alone, leave him alone. And you can hear how she's fighting for her child. And then you hear like the gargles of a hand going over her mouth. And the soldier says, what do we do with her? And the padre says, she's difficult, kill her. And then you hear the gunshot, bam. Sweet faced child, clinging to mommy's skirt. This will be hard. Many times a day you will hurt. I stand by you while this mistreatment is endured. I witnessed everything, placing my hand on your heart as they force you to your knees. The butt of a gun to your face, whips lashing your back till you bleed. Missionaries beat you to take on their civilized ways. Look in the Bible. Pick a name, forget your way of life is what they say, but you will remember mommy's words always, for it is I whispering them in your ear, telling you to stay strong and never show your fear. The once a week rapes are only temporary. One day you leave this man-made hell. The trauma within you'll always carry, but I'll help you heal yourself. For now, the strength you carry is your only way out. You don't define me by what you say. Ancestors stand behind me, so I'll be brave. The pain you inflict is temporary. The evil in your eyes, no, it doesn't scare me. Guns drawn to your people's dome. Gotta sign away what they don't even own. The motherland known as home, forced onto dry acres where very little grows except the yearning to have your life back. Before these pirates hopped off their ships to attack, exploiting free natural everything and selling for a fee, pour concrete in your rivers and poison out your streams. They tell you children, this is living, this is how it's gotta be. Forced you into schools for religion where you're getting beat. Food is rotted, food is scarce. Call you savages, tell you nobody cares. They say your skin is ugly, you're stupid and disgusting. Set you up for failure and tell you that you're nothing, but Great Spirit keeps saying that you're something. Yeah, Great Spirit keeps saying that you're something. You don't define me by what you say. Ancestors stand behind me, so I'll be brave. The pain you inflict is temporary. The evil in your eyes, no, it doesn't scare me. You don't scare me. They speak vulgar, spitting in your face, treat you as an object, call you a disgrace. When you leave this place, you'll still be fighting for your life. While fighting depression, won't give up on Creator, but you'll second guess him. Try to love, finding it hard. Pain is deep. Want to heal your scars, share the past with your grandkids. Tell them to be proud of who they are. The colonizers' evil intentions were to force your traditions to be suppressed. But like I said, I wouldn't let you forget. Now plant these seeds in your grandkids and watch what grows. The culture will revive, reap what you've sown. Problems won't just dissolve, they'll face hate too, but they won't back down because you showed them the truth. Yeah, the truth will set you free. Native. You don't define me by what you say. Ancestors stand behind me, so I'll be brave. The pain you inflict is temporary. The evil in your eyes, no, it doesn't scare me. You don't scare me. The ancestors showed me the truth. You don't scare me, and I know that that scares you. You don't define me by what you say. Ancestors stand behind me, so I'll be brave. And so I had to connect to my deepest self to be able to write that song, right? Because when we open our third eye, we can connect to our ancestors. I was able to actually connect to that grandfather that I'm talking about, his mother, you know, and I was able to connect with an ancestor who, you know, has really good medicine. And he's the one who brought me to the grandmother, right? And so when you're able to connect with yourself and understand these connections, you're able to dig deeper into unlocking these genetic traumas and really understanding them and allowing them to heal, right? So with that being said, I want to welcome you into thinking about anything that you want, you know, a positive memory, a traumatic memory, or something deep down in your core that, you know, has been drawing you or calling to you, and really give yourself the freedom to just write. You know, we'll take like 3 minutes and just write anything that comes to your mind in those 3 minutes, you know. And maybe I'll try to, let's see, I'm going to share my screen. And let's see, I'll play some music for this time. Calming music. All right, and the clock starts now, so it is 6:46. Let's not play that. I gotta wait for the ads, y'all. All right, here we go. All right, that was about 3 minutes. All right, I hope that was, oh, you guys couldn't hear the music? Dang it. Well, I hope that was good, a good little session for y'all. And that's just a taste, you know, of a way to welcome healing. You know, I know there's such things as going to therapy, and I mean, there's so many other ways to channel, you know, our emotions, our thoughts, and so on. But for me, you know, sitting in solitude and doing my breathing, putting my pen to the paper and doing my writing, like for me, those are the best ways to channel things, and to get things out, you know. So I hope each and every one of you has some kind of a book, you know, whether it's by your bed. I keep mine like with me at all times. And just that way you have that freedom to express yourself, you know. Hi. And it could look like you know, poetry. It could look like spoken word. It could look like a book, you know. And so Perla, for you, I would like to share, I wrote this book called Sisterhood, right? And so with Sisterhood, what I did was it started as some characters that I wrote down, right? The people who I intended to talk about, and I put their fictional names, bam. And then what I did was one by one, I started talking about their stories. And I ended up taking some of those stories and rearranging them. But what it does, it starts as just writing, free write. Then after you free write, what you're going to do is you're going to go through it and kind of edit it, right? A book is going to go through like 150,000 different edits. Like it's just going to happen. But you start just by writing, you know, and then some of y'all who go to college, I ain't one of them. You guys have like those you guys have like those connections, right? To like have those websites that help you channel your writing, right? Like where to put the comma and so on. Sometimes what you could do is copy and paste those little paragraphs in there and let it help you understand where to put commas and decide if that's where you want them and things like that too, right? But it just starts with telling each story one at a time, you know. And I know nowadays there's smart things that you could just talk into and it'll write for you, and then you can just kind of read it and review it and decide, right? So I just want to share that too as another way to get your expression out there and just get it started, because it starts from somewhere. Others of you, you know, might want to channel your anger, frustration, depression, happiness, you know, anything into poetry, and y'all might find that you end up having a poetry book, you know, and you could put it out there. Like people are always looking for that new, you know, more of an underground vibe kind of a thing, you know. So sometimes our pain and our anger and our frustration can end up making us good money, right? Like that song that I performed for you. I have so many songs like that that came from somewhere. I have a song called Keep It Breezy. Y'all need to check it out. It came because somebody cheated on me. Okay. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna write this song. I sat down and I wrote a song, and it was like one of my best songs. So, you know, it's just about perspective. You can take something that hurts and you can turn it into something beautiful. And in all of your cases, you know, release, just release, you know. So I just want to offer that up. I also I'm looking at the clock and I recognize that we're really close to 7 o'clock. So once again, I'd like to open it up and just offer space for anybody to share thoughts, feelings, questions, anything at all. Now I'm looking at you, Diego, and I want to give space to you if there's anything that you want to share.
Thank you. Can I share my writing?
Yes, please.
All right, here it goes. It's done in a to-go bag. And it goes like this. I feel like wearing a princess dress, princess shoes, princess discourse. Yes, princess, yes. Sing a honky-tonk song, princess. Build a fire, princess. What's your number on a cowboy scale? Do you come from a sad song, a waltz, a driveway? Show your armpits, princess. You know I always wanted to do what I wanted to do, to do-be-do, to do-be-do, to do-be-do, to ask if you would want to dress like me. I am complete.
Wow, the fact that they came out in 3 minutes. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And I don't want to put too many people on blast, but let's see. Carolina, I know you're talented, and I know that you've got stories to tell. So I'd like to open up space if you're still with us, if you'd like to share anything.
Oops. Hi, can you see me? That was weird.
Yeah, and we can hear you.
Okay, good. I've been revising a piece of work. It's basically, I just did a piece about Halloween costumes, how some of them are horrifying. And it was interesting because it was mostly comedy people that night, and mine was the only, there was some funny points to it, but it was mostly, it was a reckoning. But it felt good to get that out. And now the next piece that I'm working on right now is I'm extending a piece about coming out, not just as Indigenous, but as Two-Spirit, and what that means, and standing in my power, and not feeling I don't have a place to belong. And I'm just finding strength and feeling the energy from here, and people finding an avenue to channel things. So I'm feeling good. I had no idea that that's what the topic was today. I thought it was fashion, and I was like, oh, I don't know what Jess is doing, but I'm tuning in. So this is refreshing. I'm so glad that I'm here. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, that's definitely, in all of my teachings, it's all about self-love, and the thing is, we're not here in this lifetime to necessarily please everybody. I'd love to make everybody happy, but the understanding that, after spending 34 years in this world, is that it's not my job to make people happy, and it's not your job to make me happy. It's a choice. Happiness is a choice. And once I recognize that, then I stop having the need to, go above and beyond to please people who were never going to be happy, And it comes down to honoring myself, loving myself, and understanding that I am weird and I am different. I am unique. Whatever word you want to put there, that's me, and I'm okay with it, because it's what allows me to be creative. It's what allows me to see through my eyesight, right? The beauty that I see that nobody else can see through my lens. And that's dope. So I commend you for sharing that with us, and for being true to yourself, in this lifetime, because you deserve your happiness, and you deserve to make that choice to be happy. So yay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. And I'm gonna call out on my little cousin right now, Mitsla, and see, Mitsla, is there anything you want to share?
Not really. It was so weird because I was just vibing for the 3 minutes. And then as soon as I was like, man, I know she's gonna call on me. I know she's gonna call on me. I know my older sister's gonna do this to me. And I was like, okay, let me just see what comes out. And I went to my notes app, and the first thing that just came out was, I wish I could dance the way I used to. I wish I could feel like my feet weren't held down by lead. I wish I could feel like this dance actually loved me. I wish I didn't realize that these masks came off. I wish I didn't know what was underneath. And I wish that I could feel okay to dance that same way again, that these didn't feel like secrets hidden in my room, that instead I could be who I was again. I can't help hiding behind everything and everyone in hopes that one day I can dance again, and me and dance can finally be one. And I just started tearing up, and I was like, no, why? But yeah, so that just came out. And I think for me, it's always been hard having this dual identity of, being Cali native, being in powwow, and, being in, Mexican Chicana culture. And it's always difficult running between all these circles, and just kind of allowing yourself to be free in each space. And so I've been dealing with a lot of just feeling okay in all these separate spaces. And so for me, it's been a year of a lot of reflecting, especially with COVID and a lot of ceremonies being closed down, and a lot of our gatherings not being able to see family so much. And I'm just really hoping that as people continue to, get vaccinated, as people continue to take care of themselves, and hopefully as our ceremonies come back, um, it stops feeling like something that is closed off, that is taken from us, and something that's a lot more open. And I'm really looking forward to being able to be that way with my community again, to just share that space and share that energy that I grew up with. And yeah.
I feel that. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful poem. And, as you were talking, I think one thing that came to me that I just wanted to share with everybody here is also the understanding, like of judgments and, people talking their talk about us, or, shaming us, putting their finger in our face, whatever it is. I want us all to recognize that those people are coming from a place of hurt and pain, and for us to recognize that, like, our community is traumatized too. And a lot of our community is not doing the work to heal. So it is important for us to do our own work, and it's important for them to do their own work, but it's a choice. It is always going to be your choice to walk in happiness, to do the work, to look within and understand yourself, right? Like, everything that you do, it's your choice. And if you want to sit there in the dark, Mitla, if you want to sit there in the dark and be, in a negative vibration, that's okay. But understand that those are the people that are turning around shaming and hurting and doing all that, right? The saying goes, the hurt, hurt. But it's also true that the heal, heal. So when we do all of our work to heal ourselves, we can share that work with others, So I just really wanted to share that, because I know sometimes we stop doing things like dancing because of the way that people are judging us for whatever it is that we're doing, our style or our choices, and it's okay that people are going to judge us and disrespect us and do all that. I mean, it's not okay to be disrespected, but it's okay to understand that those people are hurting, and for us to continue to walk our walk and dance our dance. So I just wanted to share that. And I see that it's 7:03. If anybody else wants to open up and share, I'd like to take it to 7:05. I'm good with that.
Sounds good.
I don't see anybody unmuting though, or turning their cameras on.
Okay, so I want to share. I wrote something a really long time ago, and at that time, I guess I was thinking clearly. It was actually published, and it came up on my phone when, just like she was saying, I opened it up and boom, it was there. And this is called Follow the Flow. Follow the flow, flow through life. Days will be easier to survive. Follow the flow, kick back, relax, enjoy the sail to the very max. Follow the flow, take it day by day, stay on track, never stray. Follow the flow, no need to worry. Flow through life, don't be in a hurry. And I think I forgot that. So it's nice that I found that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm glad you did too. And I think that's one thing, practice makes perfect, and there's so often, like, even like with the strict diet, you go and you have chili cheese fries once, and then like your whole diet is ruined, right? Like, it's really important that we stay true to our practices. And so when it comes to the healing work, I want you all to recognize that healing is not a one-time thing. It's an everyday event. Every single day we choose to do the work to continue our healing journey and to continue those practices. So sitting alone for just a couple breaths and taking those deep breaths and sitting with yourself, it's a practice that you can choose. Doing meditations, it's a practice that you can choose. Sitting down and writing, it's a practice you can choose. Whatever it is that's going to help you in your healing journey, it's going to be up to you to choose what that looks like and how to carry that with you. But it has to be a practice, or you will forget and you will just kind of zombie out and tune into the everyday disconnection of life, right? So I just want to leave you all with that. And thank you all for sharing your time and your space, because I want to acknowledge and recognize that you are all beautiful and sacred and ancient, powerful. And the fact that you chose to share your sacred time and space with me, I'm truly honored. So I just want to thank you all for sharing your time and space with me in this evening, and just send you an abundance of unconditional love from me to you all, and hope that you take these love and these energies with you and just go in a good way and share that love with those that you touch. So thank you very much for being here with me tonight.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jessica.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sopaki.
The whole bit Almet. Have a good evening, y'all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing this space with us.
Absolutely. Do you need me to stay on for anything, or should I go ahead and tune out too?
Whenever you're ready, I'll just shut it when everyone's gone.
Okay. All right, y'all. Have a good night.